Right, there's going to be two types of people who watch this video. There's going to be the person who wants the answer straight away, and the other person which is going to want to see the explanation, the evidence, and see physically what is going on. If you're a person that wants to just know the answer, just skip to the end of the video. There'll be a TLDR, and it will just be going, okay, just do this, fix this, and if you don't care about the explanation, just do that. If you want to know the ins and outs of why this is happening and why this problem is persisting and what to look out for and all that kind of stuff, and I'll show you the evidence and show you the results and the explanation on why this is happening, obviously just watch this video as normal and you'll understand why. Hopefully. Right, this video is going to end the debate and hopefully give you the answer that you need for your fluids. No joke. There is so many videos out there that give misinformation when it comes to the correct way to do fluids. And you could be one of them people speculating that this video is as well. But just to give you a bit of information about me, if you're new or have never seen my content, I'm Bitz. I've done Satisfactory content now since March 19th, 2019 when the game released. I've got over 13,000 hours in the game, and I've proven this method over and over and over again on the live streams, but I've never made it into a video format for your faces here so you can witness it yourself. And what this is I get a question at least 5 to 10 times a live stream, and I've proved this yesterday. There's 500 people watching, there was 300 people watching on Twitch and 200 people watching on YouTube, and they all witnessed it themselves unless they went for a poop or went for a drink. So what is this question? Well, the question is, Bitz, why is your fluid working perfectly even though I'm using the same amount of machines, same recipes, but mine aren't doing what yours are doing? My last 4 fuel gens at the end keep shutting down and booting back up again, which means I'm not getting a stable power grid. Right, so as you can see, I am currently in my Satisfactory Let's Play. This is my playthrough that you would have seen on the live streams, or if you've watched the YouTube playthrough. If you've not, highly recommend it, link up here, and that will take you to the playlist of where it's more of a sit-back, chill playthrough, rather than my previous 3 seasons of Satisfactory where it's all choppy, 50 refineries down, bam, belts down, bam, splitters down, bam, decoration done, bam, montage, right? It's not like, it's more of a sit back, relaxed, get things done, answering your questions throughout the playthrough and all this kind of stuff, okay? So I have set a scenario up here. This is normally running at 100% efficiency, okay? Where now I have set up a scenario where one side is going to be fluctuating, one side is going to be perfectly fine. And that's because I've set it up where I've created the problem that you guys can fix in your save, but the developers need to fix it as well from happening. And it does happen with blueprints, so I'll show you that also, okay? So what I want you to do is on this, I want you to ignore the red lights in the middle. Some people would have already spotted it, okay? Ignore it. Ignore it. On the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, you can see this is where the fuel gens are. The smokes are coming out. You can kind of already see it down here, right? You see a blue light. I'm going to talk to you about that. So there's 26 refineries on the left arm and on the right arm. But these end fuel gens are set to 166.667 overclocked, right? Because originally when I was doing the calculations out for the fuel I'm creating, I needed 26.667 fuel gens. So that's why they're overclocked, okay? That's not the problem. So also ignore the red lights. This is just the plastic and rubber. If you're wondering, wait, it probably just backed up the line so then fuel's going down one side but fuel's going down the other. No, I've just turned this off here so you can visibly see the fuel green lights, okay? So the red ones are the plastic and rubber, the green ones are the fuel that's being created. And you can see they're all working perfectly fine. You don't see them fluctuating or going up and down. And I'm also, because there will be people speculating, oh, he's probably just filled some of these up so that one side is actually getting more fuel than the other. I'm not. I'm showing you right here that these are working perfectly fine and they don't have fuel in there, okay? That's basically what I'm doing. So now we're going to look at the power grid itself. So we should see either 15,133, which is what my power grid should be sat on. And for those that will probably work out the calculations, 1,800 of that is coming from my coal plant, okay? So the rest is from this grid, 1,800 is coming from my coal plant. So that is that before people going, wait, how's he making 15,133 fuel from 26.6667 fuel gens times 2? So that's why I'm doing that, okay? So you can see that's what we should be sitting on, 15,133 from my current world grid power. But you can see there's current fluctuations. We've just had one there as well. And that's because 413 has just, 413 or 417 has just been removed from the grid, which I know because this is my playthrough, that is what exactly the overclocked fuel gens require. But again, that is still not the problem. I'm starting the story from the beginning so you can clearly understand the problem, all right? So, this side is running perfectly fine. This side, however, is the problem. So if we look at the refineries up here, this refinery line, which is all green here, again, ignore the red lights. This side, the fuel is coming down to this right-hand side, and the refineries here are sending the fuel to this left-hand side. Next question you're probably going to ask is why not just doing the right to right, left to left? Because of this, all right? I was doing something, I was changing something, I had a whole catastrophe going on in this playthrough because I was spoon. I had one of them days, okay? We all have one of them days where you disconnect a power line and next thing you know, everything flipping shuts down. Well, that was me. So I had to quickly rejig things and blah, 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 and sort problems out, okay? So I know that shouldn't be really mentioned in a video where I'm talking about how to fix a problem, but trust me, I know what I'm doing sometimes. So the refineries here are sending fuel to these refineries. The refineries here are sending the fuel to these refineries. That's all you need to know, okay? So we're going to look down this one. Everything's working perfectly fine, right? We're going to go to the end one. This right here is the overclocked one. If we look inside of this, we can clearly see there is enough fuel in here, right? We can clearly see here, there is enough fuel in here. There's enough fuel in here. Blah, 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 blah. This one is not going to shut down, right? And there is one difference in this line compared to the other one, because if we go around here, we can see that eventually this one's going to shut down like it just did there, okay? Over time, it will fix itself, but a lot slower than the other side because of this problem I've created. So the way Satisfactory works is, as you know, it's a time-based game. Everything's worked out per minute. And when you affect fluids, the counter resets. So if you jump into your game and you look at something, you go, oh, it's fluctuating, but actually it's actually perfectly fine. And you're there going, it should be fine, but it's still not working. Well, technically you might be right, because over time it will balance out, but you need to check if this problem is in your lines. So the only difference in my lines here on either side is a simple pipe problem. And you would have seen me talk about this in the videos. And if we look at this, I'm going to slow my flying down just so it's not a little crazy. So if you look here, we can see this pipe is connecting up to this joint here, okay? And this pipe is connecting up to this joint, right? Just remember, these refineries are feeding the right side. So this is the perfect side. Well, this is the one that's running perfectly fine. However, if we look on the right side, look what's happening here. You see how the pipe is going halfway through the actual junction? That is creating more space in your pipe that is going to take longer to fill. Okay? It's going to take longer to fill. So you can see the pipe is going through, right? This distance here should be exactly the same as here, but it's not. So let's just quickly look into this pipe. We can see that this pipe fills as a maximum capacity of 10.6 cubic meters, okay? Let's look at this side. 13.3. Oh, it's only 2 point something distance, but what you've got to realize is over a long manifold, that's a problem. And what you've got to remember is as well, the smallest pipe you can make is always a minimum of 5 cubic meters, okay? So let's look down this line. So I want to do some calculation. So I'm going to pull up my calculator here on my phone. You can do this along with me. And let me just grab my calculator. Right, I've got it. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to go down this, and that's 10.6. So 10.6 plus here, 10.6. You're going to start seeing a pattern here. 10.6. Okay. let's just keep doing this. If you want to, you can skip ahead, but I'm going to keep doing this in real time, so no hickory-dickory-dock stuff can happen. But if you want to skip ahead, you can do that. So 10.6, again, plus 10.6. And here, plus 10.6. And we'll go here, again, plus 10.6. Plus 10.6. Again, plus 10.6. Plus 10.6. Plus 10.6. Again, skip ahead. I could easily go down here and count all of these, but I want to make sure that you can visibly see, if you are watching this second by second right now, that I'm not doing anything, right? And all of these should be 5, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. So we're going to plus 70 onto that as well, right? Next, we also need to put into here that these junctions hold 10 cubic meters of fuel, of liquid, all right? So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. And then we're going to do plus 140. That sits out at this whole pipe here, has a, holds 347.8 cubic meters of fluid inside the pipes, okay? So as you can see right here, current amount in pipe has a maximum capacity. All of this has a maximum capacity of 347.8. Now let's look at the left-hand side. So we're going to do this again. So as you can see, this one's connected perfectly here, but this one, however, is not. So we're going to do 347. Let me just write that down. 347.8. And now we're going to do some more calculations, okay? So you might want to skip ahead for this one. So now we're going to look at this one. This is 11.9. 11.9. Plus, again, this one, 13.3. 13.3. We're going to do this one. Again, 13.3. We should start seeing the same pattern, but we won't. I guarantee it. Plus 13.3. Plus 13.3. Here we go. Now this is where you're going to come up with a problem as well. Look into this one. This one's 5. Okay, so plus 5. And then we got another one here. 9.3. Plus 9.3. So you might have already seen a problem with that already, right? So this one is saying, well, so this one here is saying that it's connected here to here, and that should be equaling 10.6. This is exactly the same distance that the fluid should be filling up, but there's additional pipe here because it's going halfway through the junction when the junction's already consuming some as well. So this is 13.3. However, this one here also is the same distance as this one, and this one, but this one's got 5 in here, but it's also got 9.3 here. So 5 plus 9.3 is 14.3. Okay, so now there's an inconsistency in what's in the pipes. Again, this is the perfect line. This is not the perfect line. And we all build pipes like this because pipes can only go to a certain length and you always put the pipe down first. Most people might want to put the junctions down first. And if you are one of them people, you might not have realized it, but you've been doing the fluid issue, the problem perfectly all this whole time. You've not been messing up your fluid. So more than likely, you're one of these maybe 1%ers who don't have any problems with your fuel because you're putting down the junctions first. Okay. So now we're going to go back here and 13.3. 13.3. I'm going to go here. 13.3. Again, you can skip ahead of this so you can get the whole answers. I just want to make sure that people are not speculating that I am skipping ahead and I've done incorrect numbers. I want to do all this in real time. Plus 9.3. 13.3 plus 13.3 plus 11.9, and we're good, right? So now we do all of these again. So this is 5, 5. These are always going to be 5 because it's the minimum distance. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. So we plus 70, which means we then do the junctions as well. So junction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So plus 140. So now we can see there is a bit of a discrepancy in this whole line. So this line over here can hold in its pipes a maximum of 347.8. But then this one can only hold 382. And what you've got to realize as well is all of this is a small scale. So when you go bigger than this, okay, you are not going to be, you're going to have much of a bigger difference. But that right there, that 40-ish, what is it, 40, so if I just do that, if I just do minus 347, somebody's probably already done it in the head because you're a math genius, and to be honest, not dumb like me. So that has left 34.3 headroom in the pipes, which is causing problems in your pipes, okay? So that's what one of the major problems is, and that is primarily the problem, okay? So what I'm going to do now is this over here, if we look at the power again, we should slowly start to flatline. We can see we're still having discrepancies. We're still having them. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to, so the way you fix this, I should say, is just get this pipe, remove it, and add this back into here, okay? This has now brought this back down to 10.6, which is what this side is doing, okay? So we're going to do it here, 10.6, and we're going to make sure that these are all equal. We're going to remove this, remove this, remove this. So as you all know, the less room in the pipe, the more it's going to push along. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. The more it's going to push along, the more it's going to move and groove along your lines. So we're just going to do all of this. I'm going to keep all of this in real time, and then I might have to skip ahead because it's probably going to take roughly approximately maybe 30 minutes for it to rebalance back out again. So again, everything is time in Satisfactory. I'm just kind of just going to speed this up a little bit, like so, like this, okay? So now we should see all of these, I think. So I'm just going to pull out the dismantle tool. That's connected to the right spot. That's connected to the right spot, and so on and so forth, okay? And these are all done. I just want to make sure this is right. Otherwise, I'm going to be waiting for, look, oh, that one's not. I missed one. See, this is why you should always check. Even still to this day, I might still make an error, okay? And I did this on yesterday's stream. I was like, wicked, man, my fluid's not like matching on one side compared to the other, and it keeps fluctuating up and down. I knew in my head what the problem was. I just needed to find it. And what the problem was is down here in the heavy oil residue recipe was this was not connected, because yes, pumps and valves also need to be reconnected at the connection points rather than going through, because there's unnecessary space that is happening with inside the pumps, junctions, valves, and all that kind of stuff right now. So all of this is now the same, okay? So eventually, over time, this should match this, okay? So if we look at these lines now, and if we come down here, we should start seeing more of a flat line happening. And that's the only thing I've changed. You've witnessed it yourself if you watch this video and you've seen me do all the calculations. You've witnessed it yourself that the only difference I have changed is them pipes not connecting to the actual outputs, the actual connection points. They're actually going halfway through. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sit here now, and we're going to watch this, because then this will eventually balance itself out. I don't need to do anything. This will start speeding up. It'll go to 100%, but it'll probably take some time for it to get to 100%, but it's going to be a lot better than bloody 54%. I can tell you that now. So if we look to the opposite side, it should be near enough there as well. I say it should near enough be there, but it should be there. And we can see, like, this is not the problem. it's the other side that's the problem. But now, this is going to be a lot more problematic, because the reason I said it's going to take about half an hour to fix is because with me removing them pipes, I've created what's called a ripple in the lines, right? A ripple in the pipe, which means I removed it, which now there's an air bubble traveling down these bloody pipes that's not going to feed them all correctly. So it's going to take a little bit of time to boot up. So what I would normally do is I would now step away. If I know I've set this up correctly and I've checked the pipes and the connection points are all good, I would then step away, go and do something else, and come back an hour later and just check if everything's running optimally. An hour is like a good time, unless you have a massive fuel gen. Because right now, as we know, 600 fuel gens can feed, 50 fuel gens? 50 fuel gens, right? That will take a lot longer, so that could take up to 3 hours-ish. And just remember, every time now you do something to this line, this could either be remove that, add a pump, add a junction, add a valve, you have to reset your timer for it to reset again, okay? So every time you make a change to this system, it doesn't matter if you just quickly remove this pipe and re-add it, you've got to reset that counter of 1 to 3 hours again, okay? So this is where most people go wrong, is because they're looking at it going, you know, you've set it up perfectly, it is perfect, but because you've made a slight change, because it's not balanced itself out yet over time, you know, that's you're messing it up for yourself. So all we need to do now is just wait, and I'm gonna probably, I don't know, watch something now for the next hour, and then I'll come back and then you should see this flatlined, because the problem would have been fixed. Right, it's been around half an hour to 45 minutes. I've just been editing this video whilst I've been waiting for this. But if we actually jump back into game now, we can clearly see we are flatlined. We are now flatlined with power. This one is gaining more power than it's actually consuming, which is exactly what we want. We can see that we're hitting that, and the only thing I've changed is them pipes that are going halfway through either a junction, a pump, or a valve. All right, obviously in this scenario it was just the junctions, but it does the same thing for pipes as well. So I can't stress this enough, but you have to do it with your pipes as well, okay, with your junctions, with your pumps. And this is down to another problem as well, okay? What you should always do, and just trust me on this, because I can't really prove it, is just trust me on this also, is when it comes to pumps, please place them at the bottom of the actual vertical, so just before the vertical as well. So this pump is right here, and as you can tell, there's none here. That's because it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it, right? This pump has got a head lift of 29.3. If you don't know, you can actually see that with inside your pump. Okay, so this has got a head lift of 29.3. And the reason it's 29.3 is because on the top, we have reset the head lift, okay? So this is what this is. People are always saying, what's the point in putting pipes on horizontal? The best way to explain it, sometimes it does work. Like, oh, it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. Like, yes, you can use water towers and all this kind of stuff, but I always recommend putting a pump on the horizontal before the vertical. I was one of these people a couple of years ago where I would, instead of putting them there, I would put them here to start with. But the best analogy I can kind of explain to you on this is if you was to put it here, like this, and you was to place it, I'm not going to place it because I don't want to mess up this whole bloody power grid, is sometimes the head lift that is coming before it is usually the machine, and that has a head lift of 10 cubic meters. And sometimes you might not realize or notice where that 10 is, and you might be 9.9 off, which then means it's kind of like drinking a strawberry milkshake from McDonald's. Trust me, I'm a big guy, I know how that tastes, and what the experience is like, you might know, okay? It's like when you get to the bottom and the straw doesn't reach that corner, but there's some fluid there, but you can't grab it. That's exactly what it's like with this, okay? So there's fluid in this pipe, but it's just not grabbing hold of that whole flipping thing to pull it up to the next level, okay? So just put this on the horizontal. It works the same way. It works perfectly fine, as you can tell here. It's taking it to 29.3. And then when you get to the top, even though we know that head lift is 29.3, who on God's earth is going to calculate that every time we put down another factory, right? So if I was to do 29.3 and I was to remove this pump from here, then I've got to think about this. If I got enough head lift here for the remaining, what is it? 20.6. Yeah, 20.6 head lift left. Is this going to be enough room? I can clearly tell that it is, but some people might not know. So what I recommend doing is resetting your head lift. Why do you want to reset your head lift? Is because now we can clearly see that this one is pumping 9.5. Okay, and then again, if you go up any form of ramps or anything, just reset your head lift. You would never have any problems in regards to, because all it takes is for one pump that you think is perfectly fine, but it's off by 0.1, and it's pulling the fluid, but sometimes it drops below it, and it's not. It's like chugging, if that makes sense. So what I recommend is always putting your first one on the horizontal, put your next one on the vertical, which is no problem at all. But what I do recommend is I'm going to do this as a little scenario. So let me quickly get a vertical here, and I'm going to take this up. I'm going to take this up pretty high. Okay, so we're going to go boop, and this is where my pipe's going to go. So I'm just going to quickly grab a pipe. I'm setting up this right now for your faces. So we're just going to take this up, and I'm going to put you there, and we're going to go up here, and we can clearly see this pipe's not going to reach all the way up here. So I'm just going to do that, and then we're going to take you to the top. And I'm going to take you along there. Oh, and you to be along here. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is normally you don't want that there just because you need to put the pump there, right? So I'm just going to extend that. So this is the kind of scenario. You'll come in, you want to put down your Mark II pump, and you don't want to put this here, right? You want to put this here. But again, you see what I'm doing there. Some of you might be shouting, Bitz, you've just been explaining about the halfway through pipe thing. Well, yes. So either place the pump first, or remove the pipes like so to get rid of it inside your actual, here, because now it's connected to the actual inputs and outputs of the actual thing, where before it was connected just like most people do, because we always place them on here, because you can't place them, on angles and all that kind of stuff without the pipe being there, right? So we're going to put this here. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the pipe spacing. So this one now is 20.4. This one here is 6.1. So remember them numbers, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove that and connect these back up here. You're wrong. Connect you up to there. Remove that. And as we can see, this is 5 and this is 17.7. So we've reduced that space, which was the problem with the fuel gens. Okay. And then we can clearly see, if I was to get a pump now and just put it on here, and if I just press H and lock it into place and look up, we can see where that head lift is going to go to. We can see where the pulse is going to. So that means that pump is going to push to that blip, that little icon, right? No, sorry, it's that one is pushing to there. But instead of placing this on there, I like to place it just below. I don't trust it, okay? And that's the only reason, and I've never had a problem with it. So I'm just going to place it just below. And then on top, again, I would reset the head lift. That is it. I would reset the head lift, because then doing that, yeah, you're going to use more power. Who cares? Power's expendable. You can build more, okay? So just place your pump on the bottom, place this wherever, as long as you've got one on the horizontal first, and then reset your head lift. Do it like that, you're not going to have any problems going forward in the future, okay? Right, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the blueprints. As we know, 1.1 introduced blueprints with auto-connect features, which allows us to connect pipes and conveyor belts when you put in blueprints next to each other. That comes with its own problem, because it's doing the same thing as what it's doing in regards to our refineries and increasing the amount of space in our pipes, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into the game for you. As you can see, I'm at a blueprint And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a current blueprint I've created, which I only found out yesterday, by the way. And I was like, oh, we can't do this. So as you can see, here is my current blueprint. And as you can tell, we need the pipelines on the end here for them to automatically connect to the next blueprint. It doesn't connect to junctions or anything like that. So we need to put this pipe here so it connects to the next one. So I just want to show you that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up onto the roof here, and I'm going to go down into my blueprints, and I'm going to put one of these down. So normally what I would do, I've got this set up to place like this, and I'll press H to lock it in, and I'll, nudge it down so it goes into the ground, right? So this is kind of the design. So then what I'll do is then I would switch it to auto connect in default mode. Auto connects like this, right? So what it's going to do is going to automatically connect the blueprints. So as you can see, I've locked it into place. It's now connected the blueprint by this little chain link symbol. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here, because this is where I would have to connect it to, right? So I've now placed it. Ta-da! Everything looks perfect. But guess what? That little virus, that little problem is happening again. Ignore all the flickering because this is a demonstration. So as you can tell, this pipe is exactly the same as this one and this one. But because of this auto connection point, look what's happened here. It's created 3 individual pipes. And as if you remember telling you early in the video, the smallest pipe can only be 5 cubic meters. So this one right here is 10.6, which is the good number, which we've been seeing kind of primarily throughout this video. 10.6 is kind of like the juicy number. Next, we can clearly see this one is not. So this is 5 cubic meters. This is 5.3, so that's 10.3 right there. And then this is 5. So now we're at 15.3 volume in this pipe compared to the 10.6 in this pipe. Again, this is for only players who are consuming 100% of their fluid output or all that stuff, right? This wouldn't matter if you're sending 600 water down a pipe and you're only consuming 540. You've got 60 overhead. It doesn't really matter. This is for those people who are consuming exactly what they are creating, okay? So this is, again, as the same for the fuel gens. I'm making the correct amount of fuel for what I'm consuming, but we're still having the problems, which is what I've been showing you to fix today. So this right here, again, 10.6. This is not. So we now need to manually reconnect this again. So then this mitigates the whole auto connect for pipes. It's fine for belts, because belts don't work on a fluid and scale on a input size where the belts just kind of move and groove and do all that stuff. But pipes, however, do create insufficient space. Now we're back down to 10.6 again. So again, this is the same problem we're having when I showed you the whole valves not being connected correctly because it's going halfway through. So over a manifold, and the reason you do blueprints is to mass span a whole manifold line. So you're going to have the same problem in regards to that. So if you look at back, like, I don't want you to restart your factory. I want you to go and fix it, because more than likely most people will comment on this video who have found out that they're having this issue. Is like, oh shit, I've done all of this project and you tell me now after I've just built like a 500-hour factory, I'm sorry, but this is this is the fix, okay? So the blueprints are exactly the same. So I advise you, if you are doing blueprints, is don't allow the pipes to auto connect. It's fine for the belts, that is fine, but in regards to pipes, manually connect them, just like you would with power connectors. Right, so if you've skipped to the end of the video because you don't want the explanation, you just want the TLDR of what to do to fix and what not to do and what to do, this is what you want to do. Is first thing, you do not want to allow your pipes to go halfway through pumps just like this is. You see how the outline of the dismantle is going through halfway through the pump? You don't want that. You want it like this, so it connects to that. So how do you do that? Well, normally everybody, including myself, still does it to this day. We will put down a pump like this onto a pipe or a junction, right? And it goes through. All you need to do is just reconnect, right? So that's what I did here. Either put down the pump first, or a junction or a valve, and then get your pipes to connect to it like that, okay? As you can see, the pipes do not go halfway through. However, if you was to put the pipe down first, like majority of us players do, let me reconnect that up, and then put the pump on it, you can clearly see the pump goes halfway through. Why is that the case, you should ask? Well, if you look at this looks exactly the same, but we know visually that this pipe is going through here, where this one is not. And as we know, Satisfactory works on a minute-by-minute scale, like time scale, and over a long manifold, it can take an hour to 3 hours to maybe 6 hours for everything to fully work out. And it shouldn't take that long if you have it set up correctly. And so if we look at this pipe, we can see that is 21 cubic meters can fit in this pipe of fluid. If we look at this one, this is 18.5. So that is a 2.5 difference in the actual capacity of the pipe. And as we know, we want less capacity in a pipe for pressure to move forward and allow that to happen. And it's the same with the junctions. This looks exactly the same. But if we look here, this one is going through the junctions like this, and this right here is holding 10.6, where this one is holding 8. This one is holding 8. This one is holding 10.6. Okay, so as you can clearly see, this is a problem. This connection point going halfway through here. So all you need to do is just get that and reconnect them back up again, right? And that's all you need to do, because now we're back to 8 here. We're back to 8. So over a large scale, this can be a big problem for you. So just reconnect your pipes to the junctions, or your valves, or your pumps. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. But then this also comes with blueprints. So in 1.1, they introduced the auto connect feature. So this right here is one of my blueprints. And as you can see, I need to lock that in. I'm just going to break that down just there like this. Ignore the clipping. This is just for, you know, testing sake. So as you can see, when I put down a blueprint, I have this here, right here. This is ready for the auto connect. So when I put down another blueprint, it will automatically connect. So what I'll do is I've got a blueprint. I'll snap it to the side of this. I'll press H, and you can see that this pipe is being connected by, well, the auto connect feature that was added and implemented in 1.1. So I would shift this over, and you can clearly see this is connected. I'm going to place that there, okay? So the distance from there, let me just remove that, from there to there to there is all the same, right? This is the same distance right here. The only thing that's different is, because of that auto connect feature, this has now created 3 individual pipes on this segment compared to the 1 on this one. So if we look at this, this is 10.6, where this one over here is now 5, 5.3, and 5, which means that this is now a 15.3 cubic meter pipe compared to the 10.6 here. So if you're spamming blueprints and, excuse me, over time, you're going to create additional space in your pipe, which means you need extra minutes for your thing to fully balance out. And because we have so many minutes in a day, if you're spending time, if your whole system might be correct and might be perfect, but because it still needs that 3 hours to boot up, we want things instantly. We want the result to be straight away. It should be instantaneous, but you can't do that in Satisfactory. You've got to wait minutes or hours. So if I was to do the exact same setup with you, I guarantee my system will fill up quickly. Bloody hell. Oh boy, oh boy. Right, cough's out the way. Holy moly. So that's all I'm doing. TLDR is reconnect your pipes to pumps, reconnect your pipes to junctions, and then also the final TLDR is make sure your pumps are on the horizontal before the vertical, and on the top, you reset your head lift by putting a pump at the top. No questions asked. You jumped here because you wanted the quick answer. That's your quick answer. If you want to know the full details, watch the before the video, the rest of the video that you've skipped, and so forth. So if you've enjoyed this video, I appreciate everyone watching. Give it a big thumbs up, like, subscribe, and also leave a comment, even if it's just a bloody emoji. And without further ado, keep smiling, and I'll see you in another video or another live stream.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, 'cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple 'cause it feels like a lie. We'd play Halo, and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise.